Welcome to Cognitive Beyond, the podcast where we explore AI and the future of work. I'm Craig.
And I'm Lara. And today, honestly, we're getting into something that I think a lot of people are quietly, maybe a little anxiously thinking about.
Yeah, like, is my brain about to become obsolete? Just gonna throw that out there right at the top.
Not exactly, but the question is worth sitting with. Today, we're covering cognitive labor. What it is, how AI is taking it on, which professions are in the crosshairs, and crucially, what any of us can actually do about it.
And we're drawing on research from McKinsey, the World Economic Forum, Oxford, and MIT. So this isn't just vibes, there's real data behind this stuff.
Exactly. So let's start at the very beginning. What is cognitive labor? It sounds academic, but it's actually pretty intuitive once you break it down. So cognitive labor is any work that's primarily mental rather than physical. Thinking, analyzing, problem-solving, writing, diagnosing, deciding. It's what the majority of knowledge-based workers do every day. Lawyers, doctors, accountants, software engineers, financial analysts, all cognitive labor. For most of human history, that work was considered uniquely human. Machines could lift things, stamp parts on an assembly line, but they couldn't reason, weigh up evidence, or draft a legal brief.
Right, and that was the comforting narrative. Automation takes the physical jobs, but knowledge workers are safe. We do the thinking, machines do the lifting.
Yeah, and then AI happened.
Just a little bit. So what does the research actually say about the scale of it?
McKinsey Global Institute found that generative AI could automate up to 70% of the tasks that knowledge workers currently spend their time on. Not 70% of jobs outright, but 70% of the tasks within those jobs.
70%. I mean, that's not a small number.
And historically, automation hit routine tasks first. Data entry, basic manufacturing. But AI is going after complex tasks, summarizing legal documents, generating financial reports, writing and debugging code, even assisting with medical diagnoses.
Which is wild because those are exactly the tasks that used to require years, sometimes decades, to do well.
And Oxford economists Frey and Osborne analyzed automation probability across hundreds of occupations. Their findings were startling. Roles like telemarketers, loan officers, and paralegal researchers showed very high automation susceptibility.
And when that study came out, a lot of people brushed it off as theoretical, but now we're actually living it.
And the WEF's 2023 Future of Jobs report found that around 44% of workers' core skills will be disrupted within just the next 5 years. Almost half the global workforce's skill set in half a decade.
44% in 5 years. I mean, that's a fast pace of change by any historical standard.
It is. And the same WEF report flagged something important. Analytical thinking and creative thinking are now the most valued skills employers are looking for, which tells you a lot about where the gaps are going to be.
Meaning the things AI can't easily replicate, at least not yet.
Right, and not yet is doing a lot of work in that sentence. But for now, complex reasoning, empathy, ethical judgment, creative leaps, adaptive leadership, those remain stubbornly human. Let's get into the specific professions.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's start with law. AI can now review contracts, flag risk clauses, and conduct case law research, tasks a junior associate might spend days on. AI can do in minutes. The junior associate billing model is a cornerstone of how law firms make money, and it's starting to wobble. Some firms are embracing it, using AI for document review so lawyers can focus on strategy and client relationships. But the consensus is clear. The junior end of the legal profession is going to look dramatically different within a decade.
What about finance?
Finance is another big one. AI can generate earnings reports, analyze market trends, and flag anomalies, work that used to require whole teams of analysts. Goldman Sachs reportedly automated a significant chunk of their IPO documentation. What used to involve dozens of staff now takes a fraction of that.
Yeah, I saw that. And the speed is just, you can't compete with it manually.
And then medicine, which is genuinely fascinating. AI diagnostic tools from MIT and Google's DeepMind have shown they can detect certain cancers in medical imaging with accuracy that matches and, in some specific cases, exceeds experienced radiologists.
Which is both incredible and a little unsettling at the same time.
Both, absolutely, but the nuance matters. A physician's role isn't just pattern recognition. It's contextualizing results within someone's life history, having difficult conversations, making ethically complex calls. That part is irreducibly human.
Right, the bedside manner isn't going anywhere anytime soon. At least, I hope not.
And that leads us perfectly to the skills question, the most practically useful part. Knowing which jobs are affected is one thing, but knowing what to do is another.
So, what does the research say? If someone's listening, thinking, what do I actually need to be developing right now? What's the answer?
A few things keep surfacing consistently. The OECD emphasizes what they call higher-order cognitive skills: critical thinking, problem framing, the ability to learn and unlearn quickly. And problem framing in particular doesn't get enough attention.
Say a bit more about that. Problem framing.
AI is extraordinarily good at answering questions, but figuring out which question to ask, knowing what problem you're actually trying to solve, what constraints matter, that is still very much a human skill. You need someone to define the problem with genuine understanding.
That's a great point. Garbage in, garbage out, but more sophisticated. You still need someone upstream who really understands what you're trying to achieve.
And MIT's Work of the Future task force pushes back on the doom narrative. The bigger risk isn't mass unemployment, it's workforce polarization. AI creating huge value at the top of the skill spectrum, while middle-skilled workers get squeezed out.
Which is arguably already happening to some extent.
Which makes this a policy question as much as a technology question. How do we ensure AI's gains are distributed fairly? Governments, businesses, and educators all need to be in that conversation.
Right, and that's what I find most compelling. It's not just, will I have a job in 10 years? It's a bigger question about what kind of society we build around these tools.
Totally. And history gives us some optimism. When spreadsheet software arrived in the 1980s, many feared it would decimate accounting jobs. Instead, the profession grew. More businesses could do financial analysis, which created more demand for accountants, not less.
The augmentation argument. The tool didn't replace the human, it amplified what the human could do.
Right. But those transitions didn't happen automatically, all painlessly. They took time, investment in retraining, and deliberate policy. And we're going to need all of that again, probably more so, because AI is developing far faster than anything we've seen before.
Yeah, and it's not hitting one industry at a time. It's law, medicine, finance, software, education, all more or less simultaneously. That's what feels qualitatively different about this moment.
The speed and the breadth together, that's the combination that makes this genuinely unprecedented.
So let's land this practically. If you're a knowledge worker, a lawyer, analyst, doctor, software developer, thinking, what do I actually do with all of this? What's the concrete advice?
First, get genuinely curious about the tools. You don't need to become an AI engineer, but understanding what these systems can and can't do puts you at a real advantage. Those who thrive will be the ones who collaborate with AI, using it as a force multiplier for their expertise.
The human in the loop who actually knows how to work the loop.
Second, invest deeply in the skills hardest to automate. Real domain expertise, genuine depth, not shallow generalism. The ability to communicate in complex, high-stakes situations, ethical judgment, and leadership built on trust. These things don't live in a model's weights.
And third,
don't be passive about this. Engage with where your industry is heading. Read, experiment, talk to people outside your field. The workers most at risk aren't those whose tasks get automated. They're the ones who weren't paying attention when the ground shifted.
That's really well put, and the meta level is kind of beautiful. The very act of thinking carefully about your own career and your future, that is cognitive labor, the most future-proof kind.
I love that. And that's really the spirit of this show. Not stoking fear, not hyping everything up, just exploring what's happening and what it means for all of us.
All right, so if you had to give our listeners right now one single takeaway from everything we've covered today, what would it be?
The future of work isn't humans versus machines. It's humans who understand machines versus humans who don't. Your judgment, your creativity, your capacity to connect, to care, to ask the right question at the right moment, those aren't weaknesses in the age of AI. They are your greatest professional asset. Protect them, develop them, lead with them.
And if any of this feels overwhelming, that's okay. It is a lot. The fact that you're here thinking about this already puts you ahead.
Absolutely. Curiosity is already a competitive advantage.
That's a wrap on Cognitive Beyond. If this episode got you thinking, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe wherever you listen, leave us a review, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.